Diablo Immortal. Not a game you win, a system you enter and slowly understand too late. You start with nothing, just time to invest, grinding through systems, believing it's fair. Enemies fall, progress feels earned until progression suddenly stops being there. You optimize routes, you sharpen your build, you learn every mechanic they put in your way. But somewhere ahead, there's a line you can't cross, no matter how perfect you play. Not skill, not knowledge, not effort or grind, just an invisible number you're missing behind. And that's when it hits, not everything's equal. Some paths are locked by design. You don't quit instantly, you pause, you adjust. You tell yourself maybe you're doing it wrong. Then losses repeat in a pattern too clean, like something unseen has been there all along. A thought starts forming, quiet, precise, not loud enough to feel like advice. If you just spent a little bit more, you wouldn't be stuck in this place anymore. It doesn't rush you, it waits in your mind until resistance weakens with time. Free to play, free to pay. Two roads that slowly become the same. One hits the wall, one feeds the flame. Both end up inside the same machine. So some step forward, cross that line, not chasing luxury, just trying to compete. At first it works, power responds, the gap disappears. Victory feels complete, but it doesn't stay. It never stays, because the system was never designed that way. New gems arrive, new scaling appears, and suddenly yesterday's power decays. So they spend again, not out of greed, but fear of becoming what they just escaped. Falling backwards feels worse than before, so the cycle tightens, the pattern reshapes. Now they're not playing, they're maintaining ground, paying to not be pulled back down. Into battlegrounds, nothing feels random. You see the outcome before it begins. Teams uneven, roles misaligned, meta decides who actually wins. Classes rotate through buff and through nerf, but work last week no longer survives. Balance isn't stable, it shifts like the ground, so no one truly arrives. You can play perfect, react without flaws, still get erased by numbers alone. Cause strategy matters, but only inside a limit already predefined and known. And deep in that moment, clarity forms. This wasn't broken, it performs. Because balance that holds would slow down the need, but imbalance creates demand. If power was stable, spending would stop, and that was never the plan. So change becomes constant, never complete. Each update resets what you thought you could keep. Progress becomes something you temporarily rent, not something you actually own or defend. And those at the top feel it the most, cause staying that costs more than the climb. Not a single purchase, not a fixed point, but a continuous drain over time. And those who resisted, who said, not for me, start watching the gap grow wider each day, until frustration becomes something else. A slow kind of pressure that won't go away. I'll just do a little, just enough to compete. The same first step they once refused to repeat. Not because they can, but because they feel like standing still is accepting defeat. And that's how it spreads, not fast but precise. Not through force, but carefully placed advice. No one is forced, no one is free. Every choice was guided to be. Then come the spaces outside of the fight. Communities, rankings, places of sight. AZTV, Discord expands, where influence stretches beyond surveillance. Names become visible, voices gain reach, but visibility changes what you can speak. Because once you're noticed, you start to feel some truths are better left underneath. Not always punished, not clearly denied, just quietly shifted, adjusted aside. Enough to remind without making it loud, that standing alone doesn't stand in a crowd. So look at the system, not just the screen. Free players hitting the wall they can't break, spenders trapped in a loop they can't escape. Balance that shifts to keep both in play. And ask yourself, slowly, honestly, Both paths lead to the same place. Was there ever a different way?